In the late 1980s, the National Basketball Association was defined by smooth, glamorous highlight reel basketball, Showtime in Los Angeles, ball movement in Boston, and the rise of a young airborne superstar named Michael Jordan in Chicago. And then there was the city of Detroit. While the rest of the league was playing basketball, the Detroit Pistons were waging psychological and physical warfare, led by a soft-spoken tactical genius in Chuck Daly, a grinning assassin in Isaiah Thomas, and a dark master of legal malice in Bill Laimbeer, and an enforcer named Rick Mahorn. The Pistons did something the NBA had never seen before. They turned physical intimidation into an elite championship strategy. They didn't just push the envelope of physical play, they completely ripped the envelope up, burned it, and made you beat them while bleeding. They knocked superstars onto the hardwood, threw elbows into chests on every drive, and instituted a defensive doctrine so brutal against the greatest player in history that it became known simply as the Jordan Rule. In 4 short years, the Bad Boy Pistons went to 3 straight NBA Finals. They won back-to-back championships. They ended the Boston Celtics dynasty. They delayed Michael Jordan's championship era and made the NBA front office change the rulebook forever to stop them. Now, was it dirty? Absolutely. Was it illegal by today's standards? Yes, without a doubt. But was it one of the most brilliant, cohesive, and dominant tactical masterclasses in sports history? That's what we're going to find out. In this video, I'm going to be deep diving into the film, the rules of 1980s officialing, the physical schematics, and the dark psychological tactics of the Bad Boy Pistons. Make sure to like, subscribe with notifications turned on, because these videos take a very long time to produce, and I post NBA content every single day, and a like and subscribe would mean the world to me. Other than that, let's get straight into this video. To understand why the Bad Boy Pistons played with a chip on their shoulder the size of the Pontiac Silverdome, you have to understand the city they represented. In the 1980s, Detroit was an industrial motor city fighting through economic hardship. The fans inside the Pontiac Silverdome and later the Palace of Auburn Hills didn't connect with Hollywood flair or Boston tradition. They respected hard work, physical toughness, and zero excuses. Their GM, Trader Jack, built this roster with surgical precision to match that exact DNA. Isaiah Thomas was the 6-foot point guard from West Chicago with an angelic smile and the heart of a street fighter. Isaiah was the undisputed leader who set the competitive standard. Bill Laimbeer was drafted by Cleveland and traded to Detroit in 1982. He was a 6'11" center who lacked vertical leap, so he compensated with elite physical positioning, ruthless hard fouls, and unmatched psychological instigation. And there's a debate that he could be one of the dirtiest players in the entire NBA. Rick Mahorn was acquired in 1985, the self-proclaimed bad boy who provided the raw, heavy contact inside the paint. Dennis Rodman was drafted in 1986, and he was a 6'7", hyper-athletic rebounding menace with infinite energy. John Sally was Spider. He was a long-armed shot blocker. Joe Dumars provided elite perimeter defense with complete class, while the microwave in Vinnie Johnson came off the bench as an explosive scoring weapon. The glue that kept these combustible personalities together was head coach Chuck Daly. Daly understood human psychology better than almost anyone in coaching history. He realized that if his team played within the standard boundaries, they didn't have the raw offensive firepower to beat Magic's Lakers or Bird's Celtics. So Daly gave his team a simple directive. If you come into the paint, you have to pay a price. The most famous defensive strategy in basketball history isn't a press or a zone. It's a set of physical directives created by Chuck Daly, Brendan Soar, and Dick Versace, designed to break Michael Jordan. Between 1988 and 1990, Michael Jordan was the most unstoppable individual athlete on earth. But in the 1988 Eastern Conference semifinals, Detroit unveiled the Jordan rules. Let's break into the 4 laws of the Jordan rules. Starting with directing the drive, Joe Dumars or Dennis Rodman plays Jordan tight on his right hip, intentionally leaving the left side open to funnel him directly toward the help defender in the post. Then we got them meeting at the dotted line. As soon as Jordan enters the key, Bill Laimbeer or Rick Mahorn steps up, ignoring the ball and establishing physical contact directly with Jordan's torso. Lastly is the mid-air neutralization. If Jordan leaves his feet for a layup or dunk, the secondary defender, oftentimes is Bill Laimbeer, would commit a hard, intentional foul to ensure he lands on 2 feet without completing the play. It wasn't just about stopping Jordan from scoring 40. It was about forcing him to absorb 15 to 20 brutal collisions every single game. By the fourth quarter, the cumulative physical toll wore down even the greatest athlete alive. Detroit defeated Chicago in 3 straight playoff series using this exact doctrine. Physical contact hurts, but what made the Bad Boys truly nightmare-inducing was their mastery of psychological instigation. No player in NBA history understood the mental rulebook better than Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer was a master of what sports psychologists call asymmetric mental warfare. Here was Laimbeer's exact playbook. He started with the hidden elbow by delivering an elbow to a player's ribs when the referee was looking down court at the ball. Then he had the flop and smirk. After hitting an opponent hard, Laimbeer would flop exaggeratively if they touched him back, drawing a referee whistle, and then standing over them with a sarcastic smile or a little grin or a little smirk. Lastly is targeting emotional stars. They intentionally targeted players with hot tempers like Larry Bird, Charles Barkley, Scottie Pippen, and even Michael Jordan, knowing that if they could provoke a retaliatory punch, the opponent would get ejected while Detroit kept their key players on the floor. Now, there are 3 notorious Detroit balls. One was in the Eastern Conference Finals Game 3 in 1987 with Laimbeer slamming down on Larry Bird, which led to a brawl. 1989 regular season was Mahorn and Laimbeer fighting Charles Barkley and the 76ers. And then the 1990 Finals was a vicious physical containment of Portland's Clyde Drexler. If you look at the moment from 1987, Laimbeer takes Larry Bird down around the neck on a breakaway. Bird rises up in a fury and throws the basketball directly at Laimbeer's head. That wasn't an accident, though. Laimbeer willingly absorbed the hate of 18,000 Boston fans because he knew it disrupted Boston's entire offensive rhythm. It is easy to get caught up in the fights and the dirty fouls, but forget one crucial fact. The Bad Boy Pistons were an elite, historically great basketball team. I'm not going to rank them all time, but in 1989, Detroit put together one of the most dominant playoff runs in NBA history. They swept the Boston Celtics 3-0 in the first round, they swept the Milwaukee Bucks 4-0 in the second round, and they beat Michael Jordan's Bulls 4-2 in the conference finals, and they completely swept Magic Johnson's Showtime Lakers 4-0 in the NBA Finals. Overall, they went 15-2 in the playoffs with an 88% win percentage. Joe Dumars ended up winning Finals MVP on 27.3 points per game and 60% efficiency from the field, and they held 11 of 17 playoff opponents under 95 points. If you look at the offensive balance, Joe Dumars earned Finals MVP in 1989, averaging 27 points per game on 60% shooting. In 1990, Isaiah Thomas took over the Finals against Portland, averaging 27.6 points, 7 assists, and shooting 54% from three-point range to claim himself a Finals MVP. They didn't just win by bully ball, they won because they had the best perimeter guards in the league, a bench mob featuring Vinnie Johnson and Dennis Rodman, and an execution level that was bulletproof under pressure. The physical reign of the Bad Boys was so extreme that it forced the NBA Board of Governors to intervene. Prior to 1990, a hard foul was simply a common foul or a technical foul, but in the summer of 1990, the NBA officially instituted the flagrant foul rule. A flagrant 1 is unnecessary contact, which results in 2 free throws and possession. A flagrant 2 is unnecessary and excessive contact, which results in immediate ejection and potential suspension. The league literally altered the rulebook to eliminate the exact physical tactics Detroit used to win. And then came May 27th, 1991. Game 4 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls were seconds away from completing a 4-0 sweep over Detroit. With 7.9 seconds remaining on the clock, Isaiah Thomas, Bill Laimbeer, and the majority of the Piston roster walked off the floor, passing right in front of the Bulls bench without shaking hands. This was just an act that sparked decades of controversy, but in a strange way, it was the ultimate bad boy ending. They didn't apologize for how they played. They didn't ask for your approval. They left the stage exactly as they entered it, unfiltered, hated, and unapologetic. The Bad Boy Pistons will forever remain one of the most polarizing sports teams ever assembled. To their critics, they were a dirty squad that cheapened the game with thuggery and unsportsmanlike behavior, but to their fans and to students of basketball history, they were a masterclass in identity, physical toughness, defensive perfection, and relentless brotherhood. They proved that you don't need to be liked to be a champion, you just need to be unified, fearless, and willing to do whatever it takes to win. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section below. Do you think the Bad Boy Pistons were dirty, or were they just playing smart within the rules of their era? Could their style of play survive in today's modern NBA, or would they pretty much all be ejected in the first quarter? Make sure to drop your hot takes in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, turn notifications on, because I post daily NBA content, and as always, these videos take hours upon hours to produce. I appreciate every single one of you for watching the channel and watching these videos. Other than that, that's going to do it for this video.